Lesson 3.5, Veggie Pizzas. The focus in this lesson is for you to use benchmarks to match visual representations of fractions with fraction symbols. I want you to be able to discuss how they use the benchmarks and mathematical reasoning to match visual representations of fractions with symbolic representations, and to be able to use mathematical modes, for example, drawings and fraction circle pieces, to determine and compare the amount of pizza each student in 4 different groups receives on a field trip. But let's go ahead and get started first with our mental math and fluency warm-up. Greater than, less than, or equal to signs. Is the first one, should it be a greater than sign, a less than sign, or an equal to? And once again, you should be looking at place value. So in the thousands place, you see that there are 2 5s. But in the hundreds place, we have a 6 in this number and a 9 in this number. So that should tell you that this first number is less than this number. So 5,609 is less than 5,906. So again, we look at our first number in the thousands place. They're both 8s. Then we look at the next number in the hundreds place, and they're both 0s. So next we need to go down to the tens place. And you notice this is a 4 and this is a 0. So this time your first number is bigger. So that means it should be the greater than symbol. I want you to turn to Math Journal page 81, and I want you to complete the journal page. You may choose tools such as fraction circle pieces, or you can look at the equivalent fractions poster that's above our air vent in the classroom. And I want you to be able to discuss your answers with me when you come back after you finish. So these are the directions. It says, each of the rectangles below is one whole unit. Label each strip with one of the following fractions: 1/10, 9/10, 7/8, 4/7, 2/5, or 1/8. Use benchmarks 0, a half, and 1 to help you. So remember, the end, this is considered one whole strip, and so is number 2 one whole strip. But the fraction that is colored in blue is the fraction that needs to go over here. So for example, I would have measured this, checked and see, oh, could I divide it into 10 equal sections? I would have noticed that I easily could have. If I do 10 exactly this size, I would have 10 sections in this strip. So my answer fraction for how much is colored in would be 9/10 of it. So my first answer would be 9/10. What I would like you to do now is to finish Math Journal page 81, and then I want you to bring it up to me so I can discuss this with you to make sure you understand what you're doing. And again, this is just showing you the answers, which you can go right by this part of the recording because you should have come back to me and already discussed this. So the next you're going to do is you're going to get Math Masters page 115 from me. So why don't you go ahead and pause the tape now and come back to me, get this sheet, and then when you get back to your desk, hit play again and listen to the rest of this recording. Pause it now, please, and grab this Math Masters page 115, lesson 3.5. I'm going to read the directions to you here. It says, in 4th grade class, small groups of students went on different field trips. The cafeteria prepared 17 veggie pizzas for the students. So that's what you're seeing here in the circles on your paper. Each one of those represents a veggie pizza. Since each group had a different number of students, they were given different numbers of pizzas as shown in the diagram below. All the pizzas were the same size. So you're seeing all of them are the same. It says there are 4 students. How many pizzas did they share in the forest preserve? So in the forest preserve, which is right here, remember, you're drawing. So think of it like you've done in the past. Draw your 4 little people. So now through the magic of recording, you are already noticing that I have my 4 people drawn. So first I'm going to take the easy route out, and I'm going to draw each circle in half. Now notice my lines are not perfectly straight, but I'm going to draw arrows to make sure, well, this would go to the first person, and this would go to the second person, this one would go to the third person, and this one would go to the fourth person. So far, every person has gotten half. But I have 1 pizza left, but I have 4 people. Well, it would be logical to cut this one into 4ths then. And now each person will get an additional 1/4 of the pizza to eat along with it. So how much did each person get? Well, they got a half plus a 1/4. So if I need to shade this in, I should. So if I look, we'll look at a 1/4. Well, if I cut this into 4ths, oh look, each person received 3/4 of a pizza. This is the type of display that I want to be seeing on your paper so that I can see that you thoroughly thought each problem through and that you can come back and explain to me how you got your answer. So I want you to pause the recording now and work on the next one. If you're struggling, draw your 5 people and then come back to the table for this next one, and I will help you do it. But get your 5 people on there first. Don't come back to me until you have 5 people drawn. But look at what I tried here first. Halves. Maybe that's a hint to how you could start out the next one. Pause the recording now. When you are finished, come back to me at the back of the table. So again, this is just showing your worksheet that you are working on. How did you model the amount of pizza each student got in each group will be one of the questions I'm expecting you to answer with me. And that's the end of lesson 3-5.